My name is Brian Henry Martin. I'm a documentary director with DoubleBand Films, and we're here in Screen Scene in Dublin to do the post-production work on my Big Fat Moonie Wedding. So let's go in. Well, I started off directing Super 8 stories for the BBC. First thing I did for Channel 4 was Heysel, but I'd worked on 4 football stories for Channel 4 before that as an assistant producer, so I gained a lot of experience before I came to directing. And then I did Monkey Love, which was a science documentary for More 4, Making the Monkeys for Channel 4, and now my Big Fat Moonie Wedding for Channel 4. This is the colour correction room. We're here for the post-production of our Moonie film, and we're here today with Gary Curran, who is the master grader, and he's going to grade the colour on the film. So it's a very important part of filmmaking. Well, there's a couple of things we try to achieve with the grading. One is we have a lot of different formats in the film. There is video, there is Super 8, there's 16mm, there's a lot of different film formats. So we're trying to bring all these formats together and create a universal style for the film. What we're also trying to do is to create a tone for the film. And that is an emotional tone. We're trying to tell the story through the colour of the film. So even though in the film there are bright sunsets and there are beautiful shots over New York, we want all of them to evoke the emotion of the characters in the film. So that's what we do with Gary, is to really sometimes pull the colour out of a shot, which is really beautiful, or to put like a darkness into a shot where there's lots of light, or to go against what you would think you would do with a particular shot just to tell the story. I think what is really important is not to do anything just because visually it looks beautiful or that it's an interesting looking shot, or you always have to think of where we are in the story, and it has to tell the story. It has to be relevant. So Gary and I here have got 1,000 buttons, and we could get carried away and do all sorts of different colours and tones and textures. But the important thing is the narrative of the film. What is the story? Any director has to be decisive. I think you have to know what you want. Even in any given situation, if you're not sure, you have to make a decision. I think that's what being a director is all about. And I think you're guided by that, by what is your story. You've got to understand your story. You've got to understand what kind of film you're making. And I think you also have to really understand people, so that when you come to interview them, that you can get them to open up to you, to tell their story like they've never told anybody before. So for the audience, you have this really fresh and dynamic and engaging and emotional film. I started off making films, but then I trained through the industry. So I worked as a researcher and a production assistant and an assistant producer, and you've got to work through. It's all about program experience. So you've got to get as much program experience as possible. And I think you can only really come to directing when you've learned from others, when you have a real good body of work behind you. So work for free, do all of that, but just get into the industry and start working and work your way up.